Today we're doing a walk around of this Suzuki Jimny. We're going to learn it inside out and find out about all the modifications that have been done so far, so stay tuned. Hello, George here, and welcome to the channel that will be discussing off-road modifications on the Suzuki Jimny, share some useful four-wheeling tips and techniques, and get to see some beautiful scenery and visit historical sites from our off-road trips. Alright, so why make this video? Well, ever since I started building the Jimny, I got tons of requests on social media from friends, from even random people stopping me on the street, asking me, what have you done to the Jimny? What kind of lift are you running? What kind of tires? And all about these other modifications. I started a forum thread, which is in Bulgarian, so don't bother, but there are lots of people that are really eager to learn because, well, there is not that much information online available about the Jimny. It's not about, well, the content you have for Jeep, for example. So I decided to help you guys that are just starting up off-roading or with a Jimny and share my knowledge that I have acquired so far. I'm by no means an expert, but still, you get my 2 cents on it. So let's start with tires. We all want to run bigger tires on our 4x4. Well, after all, it's the only way to lift the axles off the ground. However, I wanted a high tire, but not too thick, because if you get a very wide tires, then it becomes really difficult for the Jimny to spin them. It's really big and heavy tire, you don't want that. I'm running the Maxxis Muddies. That's Bighorn 764, and the size is 30-inch by 9.5 on a 15-inch rim. The rim is -30 offset to give it a wider stance and restore the stability that we have lost by lifting the car. With the lift that I'm currently running, you can easily fit a 31, and I'll get to the lift in a second, but if you go for the 31, that's just 1 inch in diameter more and just half an inch higher from the ground, but it's already by 10.5 inch width, which makes the entire tire bigger and very heavy to run. And that's why I have gone for this size in particular. So how are these tires? Well, they have nice deep tread. After all, they're muddies, so in mud they're doing quite fine. On a highway they're a bit noisy, and I can't really compare because I haven't run any other set of tires on this vehicle in particular, but I think I'm pretty happy with them as they are. As you can probably notice, I have opted for manual hubs, and the reason why that is, well, your automatic hubs will sooner or later fail. It could be the sensor on the transfer case, it could be the vacuum lines, it could be the hubs themselves, but I can guarantee you they will fail. And here you can see if it is locked or not. It's a way more reliable option on the Jimny, so I definitely recommend that. Mine's are AVM. In order to clear the bigger tires, I have fitted a 4-inch suspension lift, no body lift. So I've changed the front and rear, coil springs and shocks. At the front I have the Pro Comp, and at the rear, well, we'll get to that when we go to the back of the car. And 4-inch, I'm really happy with it. It's quite a lot for a Jimny, but it's something I wanted from the very start. And it gives it a really good articulation and makes it a really capable off-roader. I have also fitted extended bump stops, and that is not so much to limit the upward travel of the axles, because the shocks are also longer even in the most collapsed position, but it's to stop the axles from hitting the shocks. I have kept the stock panhard rods, but I have made them adjustable by cutting them, fitting them with a screw thread and holding them in place with a locking nut. I have also changed the front radius arms with casted corrected ones, because I have tried with casted correction bushes, but it just wasn't enough to get the wheel to self-center very well. So a year after, I replaced the radius arms. And that goes together with the prop shaft spacer that you have to fit on the side of the transfer case. Speaking of the transfer case, as soon as you go off-road, you'll notice that the Jimny's low gears are not that low. And especially if you have fitted some bigger tires, you'll find that the gears are just completely off. So I have opted for reduction from trial gear. I've went for 84% gear reduction on the low, which makes it really capable off-roader, and a 24% reduction on the highs, which restores the feeling and easiness of driving on the highways. This update completely transforms the car, so I cannot recommend this enough. Moving to the front of the Jimny here, and you immediately notice that this huge winch. I admit it's a bit too much, but again, you'll soon find out that the Jimny just doesn't get stuck. It is usually used to recover other people. So that's why I have fitted a 9,500 pounds Black Raptor winch with a synthetic rope, which is really light. You don't want to add any extra weight, on a custom steel plate, 3mm thick steel. The front recovery points, you'll notice that are really improvised, but then again, they're not for other people to recover you. These recovery points are really good when the force is applied gradually, such as when you're using a snatch block with the winch, which is actually my main motivation behind this particular build. If we take a look underneath here on the front axle, there's another update that I really wanted to share with you guys. Well, the ball joints on the front axle have these seals that are really prone to early failure, and I do recommend that you change them. I have changed it with the aftermarket ones from Trial Gear. They can really hold, and I haven't had any trouble with them for the past 6 months. Another thing that we should mention are all the guards and protection I have fitted. On the outside you can see that I have kept the really stock look of the Jimny because I appreciate it that way. But when people see it, they say, oh, that really doesn't go to the bush off-roading, does it? Well, it does. Underneath, it's a tank. On the front and rear axle, I have fitted 3mm thick steel protections on both of them. There's a 5mm thick plate on the fuel tank, as well as a transfer case and gearbox. Moving to the back of the Jimny here, promised to tell you about the shocks. I'm running fully adjustable rear shocks with 15 stages. These are Black Raptor ones. Before that I was running the Pro Comp ones, but they were really stiff and gave me a really bad ride comfort. And these adjustable ones, they're really good because especially when you're carrying different loads, different weight in the trunk, you can adjust them based on the situation and based on the terrain that you're running. That gives you the stability and the comfort. The bottom end of the shocks are mounted on a repositioner to give it an extra inch of travel, and underneath there's another protection on both of them. The rear stock recovery points of the Jimny are bloody awful, so I've changed it with these aftermarket ones. They're quite sturdy, really thick, going inside the chassis for 30 centimeters or so you can really count on them, but I haven't really used them much yet. When we open the back door, we can see that, well, most of my stuff are really just lying around. I don't have a rear drawer setup, but I have made this do-it-yourself custom tri-table that can be easily folded and unfolded, and it is good to fit at least a pint of beer. We are here at the engine bay. As you can see, I'm running the stock engine, 1.3 liter petrol. It is the G13BB from year 1999. I haven't really changed the engine because, as you'll soon find out, if you change the gearing on the transfer case, you don't really need anything more, and this is quite enough to run the Jimny. The only thing that I have done is, as you can see, the stock battery has been replaced by this Optima here. It's non-spillable, vibration resistant, and it is usually the way to go for extreme conditions. In this case here you find the K&N sports filter, which is washable, cleanable, which is a really good pro for an off-road vehicle, even though I have a snorkel. What else? You'll see the breathers here. One is for the differentials and the other is for the transfer case and gearbox. I do recommend that you curve the tips of the breathers just for some extra protection. Welcome to the cabin, the cockpit. So where do we start? I haven't done that many things, but what made the biggest difference in my life are the seats. Man, I can tell you, these are from Suzuki Ignis Sport, these Recaro seats, and they have really changed the comfort levels in this car. If you can find a second-hand pair, I definitely recommend you buy one. It's easy to fit, not much of a hassle for one afternoon, but it makes a huge difference. What else? I'm using the Garmin navigation system here on the dashboard, and just a handheld radio station from Baofeng, because we usually keep it tight with the other 4x4s. We don't have any long convoys, so I haven't really experienced the need for anything different than that. Something else that I can really brag about is the audio. These are fitted on the place of the useless side pockets that were really thin and you cannot even fit anything in them. I have made these custom mounts, and on them it's a Ground Zero, a German brand, really popular with the car audio fans, a stereo component system with the 13cm mid-range, and a tweeter here that really changed everything, because you know the Jimny stock audio, it's fitted right in here and it is not the optimal place to fit some speakers. I'm really happy with them. And when we fitted these speakers, I took the opportunity to make some isolation in the door. I fitted the 3-component high-end German insulation, and that really helped to reduce any kind of excessive noise, vibration, and even some heat isolation. At a later stage, I fitted another isolation on the rest of the car, which was a budget one, and actually you can really tell the difference. Just listen to this. Compared to, but still it gives you a really nice ride comfort, peace and quiet. It just transforms the Jimny into a more luxurious vehicle, and I really appreciate it, especially if you're using it as a daily driver. So that is just my take on the Jimny. It could be done differently, and apart from all the other videos I have planned for the channel, more on this subject. I'll put more videos on how these mods could be done differently, different lifts, different suspensions. We'll discuss the various options with you guys and help you understand what's needed to be done, what is essential, what is nice to have, and ultimately help you decide on how to build your Jimny. So, if you have liked this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and turn the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of these new videos. And see you soon!